Hello and welcome to another Portrait Profit show on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Whew, we made it through 2021. Probably some bumps and bruises, but we're in 2022. Yeah. I want to bring on Amanda. Amanda, how have you enjoyed bringing 2022 in? You excited?
I'm really excited. I feel really invigorated. I will say last week was kind of the in between week, and it was like a lull and, kind
Yeah.
of not very energized. But Monday, I feel really energized. I'm ready. It's 2022, and we've got plans and goals and everything that we need to start hitting, and
That's
we're ready
right.
to hit the ground running. So it's good.
Yay.
Yeah. And you?
Excited.
Are you excited about
Oh
2022?
yes. Oh yes. I mean, I'm excited about everything, it's one of those things that us positive people have. We see things in a positive way. We have hope rather than dread. Yes, we see the dread. Yeah, yes, we see the negatives. We're not immune to that. Don't think that we're not, but we are hopeful for what is potentially our future because of the efforts, because of the work we've put into it. I know you and your team put in a huge amount of effort to continue to grow and keep everything going in a positive direction. And hopefully you feel like all of us photographers are right there behind you, like we're the at the baseball game or the basketball game. We're the crowd cheering Digital Pro Lab on. I hope you feel that way.
I absolutely do, and we do it because we love it, right? So every goal we're achieving, every idea that we have, it's because we're very passionate about it, and it's our customers that keep us going and invigorate our ideas and interests in what we do. So we
Oh
appreciate
yeah.
everybody.
Well, I I hope you guys are excited about what's coming in this coming year. I hope that you've got your plans in place and that you have begun to implement them, and also critique them as you go, so that 2023 is even better than 2022. And 2022 is going to be amazing. So can you imagine what 2023 is going to be like? All right. I want to encourage you guys, and I'll put this up on the screen. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com/Facebook. The link is right there in the post, so you don't even need to type it out. Just click that link. It's up in the original post. Click that link, and it gives permission for StreamYard to share with us who you are when you make comments. And I want to encourage you guys, of course, make comments, ask questions, click that like button, click that love button. We love that. Amanda and I love that attention, and there's a lot of things that motivate us, and that's one of them. Showing that interest, showing that participation, and helping us in that way. So click that like button, click that love button, add comments, add suggestions, ask questions. So, uh, Amanda, did you have anything else before I move into today's subject of getting a mentor and reaching new heights?
I've got plenty to say at the end. I'll let's just deep dive into the topic because I love this topic, mentors and really the people that are going to help you get to where you need to go. And that's
Yeah.
not a bad topic for the beginning of the year. It's time to get those mentors ready.
And I found so many ways to go after this particular topic. I mean, I chose one, the one that I'm going to present today, but I thought of several other ways. This happens on a lot of episodes where I'm thinking of lots of different ways this could be, what angle we could be bringing up. And so I effectively just choose one and run with it and let the others just kind of slide. That's one of the things I like about your comments is you'll often bring up one of those other directions, those other angles of looking at it, or something totally new that never even crossed my mind. And so I like this little bit of banter that we have.
I do.
All right. Well, we'll be bringing Amanda back on here in just a little while. Oh, you guys, again, please comment, hit that like button, hit that love button, ask questions. We're talking today about getting a mentor and reaching new heights. And before I get into that, I want to share with you what the show is all about. My name is Jim Landers, and my message, well, it's simple. I help portrait photographers just like you make an income doing what they love. Each week, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. Ah, man. I am so glad to be here today. It is a beautiful Monday. I'm looking over to that side because that's where my window is. I'm sitting here at my dining room table, enjoying being at home, enjoying my dog who's sleeping right over here beside me, a beautiful husky named Gray. But I wanted to talk to you today about getting a mentor and reaching new heights. Now, I want to start off by saying, well, why would you even need such a thing? And I'm curious if you guys have some ideas on that. Have in the comments, do one of two things. Either answer this question: have you ever had a mentor? And it's just a yes or no question, and just answer in the positive. If you have, say yes. If you haven't, then you don't need to say anything. So, have you ever had yourself a mentor before or currently? By the way, before you answer that, hey, Miguel, Happy New Year to you too. And someone else, Happy New Year. I'm glad you guys are here. Todd White, yes, you have had a mentor. And Todd, it wouldn't surprise me if you have been mentor to many photographers, many photographers. Todd is a teacher himself up in the Austin area, but he travels all over. And he is a wonderful, he's a cheerleader for photographers everywhere. He loves us. He loves what he does, and I've known him for years, and I'm proud to know him. So Todd White, so glad you're here. So very few, it looks like, have had let me ask the question again. If you have had a mentor, just say yes in the comments. Just type in yes if you have already or currently had a mentor. And I'm going to add in one more thing. Do you feel that it would be valuable to have a good mentor? I think they'll get a lot of yeses on that one, because why else would you be here today for today's topic? So, Rick always has something funny to say, but he never is a man of such few words. But yeah, I agree, Rick. Steve Rose, by the way, I'm glad you guys are here. Steve, yes, valuable to have a mentor. It wouldn't surprise me if you've had mentors in your other jobs. And Steve has been a pilot for years, many years. In fact, he just retired just a month and a half ago. And so I bet he has had mentors, and I bet he has been a mentor to many, just maybe not in the photography field. And Janice, glad you're here. I wonder who that might be, Miguel. Thank you for your guys' comments. I really appreciate it. Keep those comments coming. So, man, having a mentor is fantastic. And hey, Lewis, glad you're here. Happy New Year to you too. So having a mentor, man, what are some reasons for that? Why would you do such a thing? If you can think of a reason, please post that in the comments. I'm going to share a few, but I want to give you an opportunity to start typing before I start saying them, so that you don't feel like I took it from you. But if you've got a reason, why would you feel like having a mentor is a good thing? What good does it do for you? Also, what good does it do for them? But for right now, what good does it do for you? What's the positive in it? What's the win? I'm going to be talking about some of those. I'm also going to be talking about several other things. For instance, what questions to ask to get a mentor, how to respond, making sure to follow up and why, and then how to continue that long relationship. And then we're going to end with something that the title might not suggest, but it's how to be a good mentor. Because I believe that you not only need mentors in your career, in your life, but I also feel like you personally benefit by being a mentor to someone else. I mean, they ask questions that you would never even considered before. Maybe they have a connection that you didn't have, and they can give to you. We'll talk about that here in just a little while. But why would you need a mentor? Uh, um, um, the relationship with a mentor provides knowledge, it provides assistance, it provides support because they will help you answer tough questions throughout your career. This provides you with an advantage that later on you'll realize later that you need it. If you're starting off and you don't have a mentor, you may not know entirely that value that's in it, but the value is huge. And once you have had a mentor, you'll look back and think, I had to have that in order to get to the heights that I have reached today, in order to reach the goals that I have reached. It was because of that mentor that I was actually able to succeed, and so quickly. Most of us photographers are do-it-yourselfers. We trudge through, and it is difficult. It is hard. But you're making it harder than it has to be if you're doing it without the support of a mentor. People like to help. It feels good when someone asks me my advice on a specific topic. It shows me that the efforts that I've been putting forward to share with the photographer community that I am here to help are working. So ask. Don't be intimidated to ask. It's what lifts me. And if you believe in uplifting others, do the things that uplift you and them. And the thing that uplifts me is asking, requesting information, using me as the expert in helping you reach the goals you have for your portrait photography business. You know, I think that throughout your career, you're going to have multiple mentors. I also believe that you should have multiple mentors all at the same time, because there's lots of different things that someone is an expert in. They may do a lot of things, but there may be only a few things that they want to help in that way. For instance, I can press the button in front of anything, but I don't choose to be a mentor in every single area, just portrait photography. I mean, my landscape work is beautiful. My vintage portrait work is beautiful. My photographs of kids, my photographs of cities, the cityscapes and landscape, whatever, it's all good. But it's not what I specialize in. It's not where I shine. There's the bookkeeping side, the marketing, the sales, how to speak to people. There's so many different variables that make up photography. I would say get a mentor in every single one of those areas that you need some help in. We're going to talk about those and how to think about those and how to come up with questions about those things that you need. Mentoring doesn't need to be long-term. It can be a single time, although that time it's more just a, can have a moment of your time kind of a deal. But it doesn't need to be something that lasts for years. It could be something that lasts for a couple of times. A mentor helps you with finding ways to grow professionally. Your mentor has probably been where you are right now and knows the mistakes that they made and can share with you those mistakes so that they can suggest ways that make it easier for you, quicker for you. They help to push you. They help you to network with others who can help you because of their connections. Mentors inspire you. They keep you focused. When you develop a relationship with a mentor, your confidence is going to soar. I'm sure you can imagine it. A mentorship experience is based on self-improvement, but I'm going to tell you in just a little while, it needs to be a win-win. And I'll tell you why in just a little bit. The reason you look for a mentor is because you're looking for guidance to solve specific questions, or maybe one specific question. Maybe it's a concern. Maybe it's just a goal, something you're trying to get to that you haven't been to before. Mentoring can be short-term or it can last a while. That's based on your needs and the ability of the mentor that you're working with. Let's say you know that you need to, I believe you need to be a good speaker. You need to be able to speak clearly, eloquently. You need to come across as confident. And so being a public speaker, I think, is an important thing for a photographer. So let's say that you need to become an expert public speaker to reach your goals. In my opinion, you do. Because you're going to be talking to a lot of people. And I don't expect you to be amazing at it to begin with. In my opinion, being able to speak opens doors that you didn't even know existed. You'll likely start like a lot of other things, a Google search, some YouTube videos. Then maybe consider some organizations that you could join, Toastmasters, or maybe even some classes. Then once you know a little, it's time to seek out a mentor who can fine-tune and truly help you reach your goals. You'll ask questions like, how do you avoid that feeling of anxiety before and at the beginning of when you're speaking? And how do I deliver a message that causes them to understand and to share it? So those are some questions you might ask if you're looking to improve your ability to speak. But those are details. Let's start at the beginning. And I'm going to bring up, I just noticed I left that up there. All right, so how to get started finding a mentor. Let's go with the basic real quick. Now, some of you have accomplished this, you're way past this. But I want to make sure that if you haven't, that you've got this down. Because this is an all-stop kind of topic. Meaning, stop everything, do this. If this isn't done, do not move forward until it's done kind of topic. And you've heard me say these things before, if you're watching the Portrait Profit Show regularly. Basic. You get started by knowing yourself and knowing your goals. If you don't know that, maybe you need someone to help you with that. By the way, if you're in your 20s, and you're saying to yourself what I call an excuse, what you call a reason, do not accept the excuse that you are young and just don't know yet what it is you want to do and what your goals are. There are other people who are your same age who do. Stop making excuses for yourself. You may not know everything. You absolutely don't know everything, and neither do I. But you do know some things, and that's the direction you need to head. You know a lot more than you think you do. And if you have an open mind, I can prove that to you. But to move forward in the most beneficial direction, you must know what you have and what you want to have in your life. If you don't know yet, please stop everything and do these next 3 steps. You can work hard, but wind up going in multiple directions, doing things that you never, or that you later realized didn't even help, or took you in the wrong direction. So, yeah, hindsight's 20/20, but proper planning at least causes you to go in the right direction. 3 things. 1, define you. Who are you? Again, if you've watched the Portrait Profit Show regularly, you've heard me say these before. Define who you are. By the way, before getting a mentorship, I say, even if you have done this, review this. Who are you? What are your values? What do you want personally? Throughout your life. Right now and way later on. What do you, number 2, define what you want in this life. So define you, define what you want. So number 1, defining you is your values and the things you find important, and things that are of that nature. So next is, what do you want? Number 3, define what you want for your business, both what you want and what you want the experience to be like for your clients, your target market. Put those three in place. Know those three things. Know you. Know what you want. Know what you want for your business and your clients. All right. I understand that some of you may still think, I really don't know those things, or I don't know them well enough. All right. Don't be concerned yet. That's not a problem if and only if you stop and find a solution. Because this is a problem not to know these things. It is. Whether you know it or not, it's a problem. And fortunately, it does have a solution. It does mean, however, that you're not ready for this lesson on finding a mentor to help you succeed in business, but I want you to still listen to it even if you are in that situation, because you'll need to apply it later. For the rest of us who have defined who we are, what we want, and what we want for our business, here's where you need to start. Reflect on what you hope to learn and get out of a mentorship relationship. You may be trying to overcome a transition in what you're doing. You maybe have some concern. Maybe you're dealing with a client who's asking something that you've never dealt with before, you've never come across before, but you want to help them. It's some guidance that you need more support, some subject that you need more guidance and support in. I want you to record your goals. Now, that could be on paper, a Word document, an audio recording, however you do your notes. I do it in a Microsoft Word document most of the time, but sometimes I have my microphone on and just talk to it. So the speech to text. So that when it's time to share your goals, you can, clearly and intelligently. I want you to sound intelligent when you share these things. You want you to sound intelligent when you share these things with your mentor. What is your personal mission? What are your personal values? What's your personal vision statement? What is your personal mission, value, and vision statement? So the first thing is yourself. And this includes loved ones. What do you want for you and what do you want for them? Second thing is your business. What do you want for you and what do you want for them, meaning your clients in this instance? Write it down because you're going to be sharing this with your mentor. Next, you're looking for a mentor that has experience that you're looking for. Not necessarily somebody who can do everything because you just have a concern or a grouping of concerns. Your goal isn't a one-stop shop mentor. Your goal is to get past some hurdle. You're going to be sharing appropriate things with your mentor. So know those things ahead of time. Be able to share about yourself. Be able to share about your business, the things that you're passionate about, your vision, and what you specifically are needing help with. We're going to be talking about the words to use here in just a little while, but it's too soon right now. The more you know about yourself and your vision, the more likely that you will be able to find a mentor that is right for you right now. I want you to make a list. Make a list of all the things that you could use help with and who you think could help you out with those things. Start with just a list of skills and experiences that you know you need. As they come to you, list who you could reach out to. I know you're not going to know the answer to all those questions, the people just yet. But as you write them, an image may form in your mind of who the right person is to seek. And you may have a go-between. You may reach out to me and say, do you know someone who, fill in the blank? Because you won't know all the answers. That's why you're needing a mentor. And you also don't always know who to contact. But many times you do. Or find someone to help. You may have to do some research online to find out who can help you with certain things. The things listed should not just include photography-related things. For instance, if you need help with social media, you may reach out to a social media person. Someone who does that kind of thing for some business. They're a full-time employee maybe. Maybe you need someone to reach out as a bookkeeper, someone to reach out to as a lawyer. There's a lot of different things, not just photography related, that you're going to need help with. Write all those things down. What's in your path? What's coming up? What are you going to need to know? What do you feel like you need to know? Write those things down. Make a list of the skills and experiences that you feel you need or could use help with. And then write who can help if someone comes to mind. If they don't, some of these will have names that you associate with it. You can ask them later, who do you know who can help me with? And then you give them their question. And they may be able to help, or they may be able to refer you to someone else. It's okay not to know who can help you in this area. Now that we know who we are, where we're going, and what things we need in order to reach where we're going, now we need to contact the person who can help. Now, you're going to be contacting multiple people over the years, but let's focus on just reaching out to one. Contact the person who can help. Now that you've defined what you need and who you can get it from, in many instances, it's time to write down your specific question for them and contact them. I want you to reach out with an email or letter and introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, what you're trying to do, what your needs are so that you can accomplish your goals, and why you feel that they are the right person to help you in reaching it. You could say, let me give you a couple of questions that you could ask them. Hang on a second. You can tell them what you want from them. But you might start off by saying, I admire your work, and I'd like to learn more about how you fill in the blank. You've seen photographers work out there. You've seen different things that they've done, maybe on social media, maybe other places. There's a person you could reach out to if you have an interest in going that direction. Again, you could say, I admire your work, and I'd like to learn more about how you, whatever it is you're interested in learning. How about saying, I would love 20 minutes of your time to get your perspective about fill in the blank. We want to be very specific with our questions. Again, this doesn't mean your goal right now is to start off a long-term relationship. It may not even be a long-term. Most of you will find that you are more comfortable asking a question and asking for a little time than trying to move straight into a mentorship kind of relationship. Instead, allowing the relationship to just grow on its own. So you're just at first asking a question, and it has the potential to grow into a mentorship. And I'm going to talk about how. That's part of this today. So make it a simple request. One question, one piece of advice that you would like to gain from their experience. Unless mentoring is something that they do regularly, you do not have to ask for a mentorship, just a moment of their time. So ask a specific question and possibly a follow-up question or two. Maybe 10 minutes of their time, maybe 20 minutes of their time, whatever you think is right. But you're going to be specific in asking. And then end by asking if they're available to help you. Now, this is part of the letter that you're writing. You're writing a letter, or you're writing an email, or you're writing a direct message on Messenger or some other source. Note, I want you to think about this. They are just as busy as you, maybe more so. Not all are going to respond immediately. Many won't. Maybe most won't. So write another message a couple of days later, a follow-up. In my opinion, a follow-up is a necessary part of business. You're missing out on a lot of opportunities if you do not follow up. People are busy, you guys. Sending out a message once is equivalent sometimes to not doing anything at all. When I recommend to my students mail outs, direct mail, and usually I don't, but when I do, I tell them if they have a budget for only one time, don't bother. Don't bother. Unless they have some other thing in mind, a plan to put it together where they can call each one of the people they mailed it out to. So there are exceptions. But in my opinion, it takes multiple touches. And just that means the times that you are reaching out, that they have the ability to know you exist. It takes multiple touches, usually 5 to 7, before you get the attention of a client, a prospect that causes them to want to be your client. It takes multiple touches. So just one is almost not even worth it. When you do this follow-up, you're going to realize something interesting if you don't know it already. They're going to compliment you. Many will compliment your persistence. And for some, it's just the way that they use to know that you're even serious, because they get questions all the time. After all, what are the odds that you're the only one who noticed that they're good at what they do? Action steps. Write your question or questions. Make it very few, but make it very specific. Write your letter, your request, what it is that you want, what you want to say. And then follow up as needed. Those 3 things. Write your question. Write your letter. Follow up as needed. Now, when you're actually talking to them, the questions and the potential discussion about mentoring. I say potential because at first it's just a question. It grows into a mentoring relationship. There are times when it starts off as that, but that's not the norm. It doesn't just magically happen. Well, it kind of does. But you don't just send out a message and poof, you've got a mentor. We have to have a conversation, a phone call, a video call to talk about it, to make sure that this is the right fit. That's why we start off with just one question or 2, not a full commitment. When you're talking to them, there's 3 things you need to do. 3 main things. There's some sub things too. Number 1, introduce yourself. Number 2, well, you know what? Let's talk about that for a second. Introducing yourself. I want you to start off by introducing yourself. And yes, you did that when you sent that letter out, that initial contact. Yeah, you did. You do describe who you are and what your goals are. Yes, yeah, you do all that. But not every person reads every single word. Do you? And even if they did, they likely have done some things between when you read the message, when they read your message and agreed to talk to you about it, and now when you're actually talking to them about it. So they may have forgotten a thing or 2. So introduce yourself. Number 2, share what you need and why you feel they are a good fit. Tell them why you feel they're a good fit and what you propose for this relationship. In most instances, this doesn't start off as a mentoring thing. It starts off by asking for advice on a specific subject that you know they know well. Or at least they know more than you. This is just reiterating your message. But this time it comes not just with the text that they received in that either snail mail letter, that email message, that text, that direct message, whatever. This is not just text because you're actually talking to them in this instance. So therefore it comes with inflection. It comes with body language. And you know how much more communication that gives, how much more it conveys. Number 3, ask your question or questions. You already spent time figuring out what questions to ask. You might have already asked it in the letter that you wrote to them, the initial letter, when you first reached out. But now it's time to simply ask and then listen with the intent to understand to their response. Don't talk over them. Be silent. By the way, that's good advice in every conversation, especially when you're having a conversation where you're upset about something. You don't know everything, so let them speak. And then hopefully they will let you speak too. Part of your goal is to confirm that they are the right mentor for you and your goals. I want you to keep some things in mind. Respect their time, respect their experience. If time allows, ask any follow-up questions that may come up, as well as specific questions about their experience, expertise, skills, and even their evolution. And then thank them for their time. When this is done, the question has been answered, your 10 minutes are up, your 20 minutes are up because you've respected their time. Thank them for their time. Show appreciation for sharing their experiences and suggestions. If you feel that now is the time to ask for mentorship, then here's a question you could ask. Would you be willing to take me under your wing as your mentor? As my mentor? If this isn't the time to ask that, and by the way, this is a feeling you get. Maybe you decided you don't want to work with this person, so therefore you wouldn't ask that question. Maybe you feel it's just not the right time yet. That often is the right time, but there's another time when it is appropriate too. I'm going to talk about that in a second. If it's not the right time, then you can ask. I want you to ask if it's okay for you to follow up, so that if you think of something else. Now, this relationship grows from there. It's beginning there, but it's growing from there. Since many mentoring relationships start off with just a moment of their time and not straight to some long-term relationship, do everything that you would do when you appreciate someone and want to continue to spend time with them. Write a thank you letter. Maybe you send it via email, but write a thank you letter. Ask them if you could contact them again in the future. Yep, you asked that again in words, but I want you to ask it again in text. If it didn't feel appropriate to ask already, maybe this letter is when you do. So assuming you still feel that they're a good fit for you, of course, now's the time to ask if they will take you under their wing as your mentor. All right, now you can see the win for yourself. But reaching your goals, I want you to reach your goals, but I also want you to have a win-win mindset in everything you do. So every step you take, including the potential for a mentorship situation, should be entered with the intent of reaching your goals, of course. But as you know, if you've watched the Portrait Profit Show regularly, I recommend entering every situation with a win-win mindset. Now, I think you know what it means, but just in case, it's clear what your win is. So now think about ways you can make it a win for them too. Many times this is quite simple. For instance, if you were seeking advice from me, a win would be for you to make a post on social media. Go to San Antonio Photography Facebook group. And make a post where others are going to be able to see it. That's why I recommend San Antonio Photography page, about how your consultation with me made a difference to you and your business. And you can see how that helps, how that uplifts other photographers, because they're getting that advice, they're growing, they're becoming more of what it is they want to be. It's all too often that I see on social media people saying, I wish I had this when I started off. I wish people were there to help me when I started. You know what? They were there. You were the problem. They were there. You just didn't know how to seek them out. And this lesson today helps you seek them out. Just because they don't reach out to you does not mean they don't exist. They don't know you exist. It's up to you to form the relationship. I want to stop seeing those posts on Facebook saying, I wish I had this when I started. No one was there to help me. Bull. You didn't reach out to the people who could have helped you. It's all on you. Now, you could say something along the lines of, I wish I had known at the time that having a mentor was awesome, or having someone to ask questions of, or someone to help me would be awesome. But I was too focused on doing the things that I didn't know yet, becoming a better photographer. A little bit on that business side, because that's kind of important, right? When you seek out a mentor, you'll never say, I wish there were those people were there to help me when I started. It's up to you to fill that hole, not them. Now, I want you to show, again, this is a win-win. It's real obvious to see your win. You have to do a little bit of work to give them a win. In addition to the pulse that I suggested for me, I mean, that's a good one for some, it's not a good one for others. But in addition to that, not just a one-time thing. I mean, I gave you 30 minutes of my time, an hour, 2 hours. I gave you my time, something I can't get back. Money, once you spend it, you can refill it. You can replenish it. Time, it's gone. When someone gives you their time, this is a massive gift. And one single post is awesome. But I also recommend that you like their stuff whenever they post. Like it. Make positive comments. Share it with people who you think could benefit from it. When you uplift others, you are uplifting yourself by default. It's interesting. There are some who do nothing after that 30-minute gift I give to them. Nothing. And it makes you think, well, that's not the kind of person I want to continue to gift time to. So don't be that person. It's real easy. Make sure you give them a win. Even if they say they don't need it or don't want it. That's not an excuse not to do something. So do something. Even if it's just a follow-up email showing your sincere appreciation. It could be as simple as that. But show gratitude. Your mentor has their own things that they do, their own job, their own responsibilities, their own family. They're gifting you their time, so show respect by not demanding too much of them, not demanding too much of their time, and showing gratitude. Another way that I've been shown gratitude over the years, and there's been a lot, and I'm going to share with you one real quick. And I don't know if she's here, but Angela Michelle, years ago, this was 2014, gave me, and I still remember it. I mean, 2014, that's a number of years ago. But she just, after having helped her for, it was a period of several weeks, and she came in just all on her own. I didn't even know she was coming in. And she knows that I'm a chocoholic. And she came in with an amazing bouquet of chocolate. I still think about that, and I still appreciate it. So thanks, Angela Michelle. Thank you for that. I mean, this, again, years ago, I still remember it. And there's been other amazing gifts. I mean, gifts are fantastic. And, I can tell you a few others. I love cookies. I love empanadas, lunch. And I'm only telling you what I have received, not to brag or anything. It's because it's my own experience. I don't know others' experiences, so I can only share mine. But these are some things that you could do. You could make some cookies and give it to them. You could, gift them something. I like gifting something you've made. So empanadas and cookies are fantastic. But let me share with you some pictures, some images of things that people have given to me. Window. All right. Hopefully you can see this. This is a photograph or multiple photographs of some of the gifts that I've received over the years. You'd be surprised how many antique cameras I've received as a gift over the years. I've got one of them showing there. Uh, I let's see. Yeah, you can see that. Good. I had to check my screen real quick to make sure. So you're seeing cookies. You're seeing. Oh, by the way, Modelo Negro, one of my favorites. I've got a bunch of favorites. I'm not asking. I'm just saying. And you know I actually some of these I don't even remember who gave them to me, but I can see that this one has a note that says it's from Paula. This one of the hamburger, that was Steve. He took me to lunch, and there's someone else named Carmen who has taken me to lunch. Actually, there's been several who have taken me to lunch. Uh, let's see, Evelyn and Lilia. Well, there's a bunch. If I start saying, I'm going to forget some, so I'm just going to stop. But these cookies were from Sierra, and these were from Sandra. I don't remember who all these were from, but these are so cool. I've gotten several Christmas ornaments over the years. This blue rolly cart was one of my favorite gifts, and I use it often. I put my equipment in it. It makes it so much easier to take my stuff around. It's fantastic. That was from Ben, and you know, so several different things. They've been just fantastic. But a reason, again, I'm sharing these things with you is to give you ideas. At the very least, it's a thank you note. I'd recommend creating your own personalized thank you note and maybe updating it once a year. You put your favorite image on the front, doesn't need to say anything, and it's blank in the inside. And this is just digital press cards that you get from Digital ProLab. So create your own custom thank you card. At the very least, send that out when someone gives you the gift of an unreplenishable item. Get time, anytime they give you a gift. But this is something I recommend that you do. And you can get that easily from Digital ProLab. Get those thank you cards easily from Digital ProLab. Now, when I spend time with people, when they're asking me questions or when I'm gifting them some of my time, and you know I do Lunch with Landers. That's, and those of you who don't know, Lunch with Landers is a weekly thing that I do where I take a photographer to lunch on me every single week. Every single week. I take a photographer to lunch. They get to pick my brain. Now, that happens on Tuesdays only. If Tuesday lunchtime doesn't work for you, I'm willing to do it at other times. Not during Portrait Profit Show, of course. So that leaves Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I am willing to do lunch on those other days. But you get to pay for it if it's those other days. I'm paying for Tuesdays. Every single Tuesday. That's 52 lunches that I'm buying. Now, there's exceptions. I do pay for other lunches, but those are the main ones. And I wanted to share with you one of the ways, you know, I mentioned a post, but I also think that a selfie. Photographing a selfie of the 2 or 3 or however many of us there are, and posting that along with your kind post. Because as you know, a photograph with a post with a photograph gets more attention than just a post. Your goal is to help them out because they helped you. I'm going to show you. Let's see if I can, how much of this I can show. I'm going to show you most of the people that have gone to lunch or I have spent time with over the last year. So let me share that screen with you real quick so you can just see their faces. So there are some of them. And I wish I could see, but it covers up my screen when I do that. Let's see. There we go. All right. So, I just noticed that a couple of those are from years before, but most of them are this year. But you can see these are just selfies with other photographers that I have spent time with. either with Lunch with Landers or something else. The business assessment consultations that I do, I usually do those via Zoom, so there's really no opportunity for a selfie, I guess, unless we were to just do a screenshot of the Zoom call, which I have done before. Maybe I should do that every time and add it to this. But you may even see your own face in here. I'm hoping that you do. If you don't, well, take advantage of Lunch with Landers or the business assessment consultation. And let me put those in the chat real quick. Let's see. I'm going to put the Lunch with Landers is full through February. There's some still left in March. And here's the business assessment consultation. I put that on the screen, but I don't expect you to write it down. So I'm going to put that in the chat. All right, so what I'm right now putting into the chat, the feed, is that a way to reach out to me and get a free business consultation. So a free business assessment consultation. Just click that link, and you have access to my calendar. Choose a time that works. Simple as that. You'll get text reminders and email reminders. It's automated. I'm not having to do that. Yeah. Oh, good. I'm looking through these comments. Rick, you are a mentor and you love being a mentor. That's fantastic. Hey, Jerome, glad you're here. And Tony, that is awesome that you're doing that, and I'm sure you've been doing that for years. So taking on a few interns and apprenticeships and mentorships, these are all very similar things. I think you personally should define the differences between them on if you're doing those kinds of things. For me, an intern is usually something that's a certain period of time. It doesn't have to be, but it does imply that they have other things that they're doing, like they're a full-time student, and so they're able to get to me when they can. Whereas an apprenticeship is a full-time. They're actually there learning the ins and outs, seeing everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, how we start, how we end, all the different variables. That to me is an apprenticeship. So an internship is just when they can be there, and it just does certain things. And then I think the lightest of those is called shadowing, where you just hang out while they're doing a photo session or while they're doing some of their business things, where you just hang out. There's not really any responsibilities. Interns have responsibilities. The apprenticeship has lots of responsibilities, whereas the mentoring relationship is more of you're asking questions of them and you're getting responses of them. We'll talk more about that here in just a moment. Yeah, one way to show appreciation, Miguel, even a quick DM question or appreciation or to ask a question and thank you for their time. Yep. I'm glad you saw yourself, Miguel. I'm glad you saw yourself, Rick. So that's awesome. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. So I like your comments. Keep them coming. I do stop and read them every once in a while, maybe not as often as I should, because I want to get through this material and I packed it too much, apparently. So again, we're talking about getting a mentor and how that causes you to reach new heights. We're talking about how to reach out to them, how to get a mentor, and for those who are in my regular classes, I actually have a sample letter that you can send out. I have a sample follow-up message that you can send out. I have a sample social media post. I have all those things for those who are taking my classes. I just don't have time for that during the Portrait Profit Show because there's not enough time. But I want you to make sure that you're asking them specific questions, but understand there are no wrong answers. You're going to find that you have similarities and differences with them. Just because you have a difference with them, that does not mean that this isn't a good relationship, that you can't learn something from them. I believe something that some of you may find odd, weird, And that's, I believe I can learn something from anyone. Anyone. And I especially like to learn from those who totally disagree with the way I do things, because they are seeing it from a totally different perspective, one that I just don't have. Meaning there's a gap in my knowledge that I'm totally unaware of. And so I welcome those who have differences in opinion. I want to learn what yours is, because I bet there is something in there that I can grow and become a better person because now I know it. There are more things that you are ignorant of than you have knowledge of. If my fist represents the amount of knowledge you have and the things that you know about but don't really have a whole lot of knowledge on, if that represents that amount of knowledge, then the rest of this room I'm in represents what you do not know yet, things you're ignorant of. By the way, ignorant isn't a bad word. It's used that way sometimes, but it's used inappropriately when it's done that way. Ignorant just means the things you don't know yet. And all of us are ignorant much more than we are knowledgeable. Therefore, seek out those who have differences in opinion. Learn from them. Shut up and listen. Don't interrupt. Don't tell them how they're doing it wrong. They're doing it right from their point of view. You don't have that yet. So be quiet and listen to it. Stop being bothered. Stop being offended. Stop being a wimp. Learn other points of view. It makes you a better person, and it uplifts everyone. Now let's talk about working with your mentor. Once you've asked that question, would you be willing to take me under their wing? And they say yes. What happens next? Well, excitement. The thought of being able to spend some quality time with someone who has experienced what you want to experience. That's exciting. It fills you with hope. It fills you with good vibes. By the way, good vibes is part of what Amanda's motto is for the year, but I'll let her tell that if she wants to. And it fills you with confidence that you will be on the right track to reach your goals with a person that you appreciate, who is willing to help with advice along the way. But just like all relationships, it is a growing process. It has a beginning, and at some point it has an end. So let's make a plan. Let's talk about how and where and why. Entering a new relationship is exciting, but it is also scary, especially for us creatives. We need to begin with a few questions. Yes, we asked some other questions, but we need more. So we give ourselves the potential to establish a long-term, strong relationship where both parties know exactly their purpose and the scope of the relationship. When everyone knows what is expected, things just go easier. You'll discuss like how often you're going to meet. Once a week? Every other week? For how long? Half an hour? An hour? Are you going to meet for coffee? Lunch? Zoom call? Phone call? You're going to establish some specifics. What is it we're trying to accomplish here? And a timeline. I would say make it short, maybe for the next 3 sessions, and then we'll decide what we'll do then. Don't make them commit to a year, 3 years, or 5 years. You don't even want that. Maybe you do, but if you change your mind, you need an out. So let's not go there yet. Now, here's what you want to do at that first mentoring session. You're asking intelligent questions, concise, specific, so you've planned them. These are areas that you can improve upon, that they can help you with. Your questions are going to be clear. They're going to be relevant to your mentor's experience. We don't want to go outside that boundary that you know that they are helping you with. You could make them uncomfortable. That's not the goal here. Stay focused on what they are here for you. And know that you've got other mentors, or you can develop other relationship with other people to fill in the other gaps that you don't have. But just keep it on the topic that you guys have started on. So prepare your questions. Go over them right before the appointment. Make sure that they are specific. Make sure that they are clear. Also consider the mentor's time and make sure to make the most of it. So very little small talk. That doesn't mean don't ask questions about them and their family and what they did over the weekend. That's fine. That's good. You should. That says that you care about them in addition to what they're giving you. But keep that to a minimum. Now, if you're meeting via Zoom, I definitely suggest that you record it, but get their permission. Just ask. They probably won't mind at all, but ask. That way, you can really listen to what it is they're saying and take very light notes and then record it later and get specific with your notes. And then watch it later and get specific with your notes. That's one more thing. So one is prepare your questions. 2 is ask permission to record if you're doing it via Zoom. 3, listen. Show them that you're valuing what it is they're sharing with you. If they recommend something, read a book, reach out to someone, make a post, whatever it is, do it. And then follow up by letting them know how it went. Just a quick email saying, I took your advice and this is what happened, or this is what I did. That way they know what's going on. The next thing is, number 4 is ask if you can follow up. Make sure that this relationship is still strong. At the end of it, you're going to ask, can you follow up? Now, after it's completely over, I want you to ask yourself, what did I learn? What did I gain? What new things do I have to apply to my life, to my business? Make sure you write a thank you note. It could be just a DM, a direct message. It could be an email message. It could be that thank you note that I mentioned earlier, a digital press card from Digital Pro Lab that you custom make yourself. Here are some questions that I want you to consider. Now, I'm going to go through these a little bit quickly, so you may want to rewatch this part. Here's a question you could ask your mentor. Would you suggest any books to read? How about, what top 3 or 4 skills should I be focused on first? How about this one? What would you like for me to do to show that I'm improving throughout this mentorship? Now, here's some questions that help you find out more about them, but really help you. Questions about them. Do you ever lack inspiration? And if so, how do you deal with that? Another question. How can you help me be better about separating my emotions from my business decisions? Do you have a mentor? How have they helped you? Was there a single turning point in your career? How do you describe yourself and what you do? If you started over today with the knowledge you currently have, what changes would you make? What things do you value the most? How do you balance work and home? What do you do to keep yourself fresh and continuing to grow? How about this one? Do you ever get imposter syndrome? How do you work through that? And here's another last one. Have you ever received any advice that you took, but now you disagree with? Those are some example questions that you might ask. Now, questions is just a start. You grow from there. The relationship gets, you want to keep it growing, you want to keep it fresh, and you do that by doing the things they suggest and letting them know that you did the things that they suggest. So you let them know by sending them an email. You let them know by a phone call. Maybe you let them know just at the next meeting, but you must let them know that you have done what they suggested. Don't come to the next meeting not having done it. Don't come to the next meeting with an excuse. You have sought them out. They're giving you their time. Now, I say give. Are there mentor relationships that are paid? Yes, there are. Is that better than one that's free? I don't know. Could it be? Of course. I mean, there are people who are full-time mentors. That is what they do for their income. They probably are really good at what they do because they do this every single day. They're an expert. So yeah, it probably is better. But I don't know that. Do you need that? Maybe. There are ones that you can get the information for free. There's one you can get paid for. I would say start off with just asking people for help. And then move into that kind of relationship if it's appropriate. I have, for myself, both free and paid options. Yeah, the paid options do get more. They get more time, and they get things I mentioned earlier. Like as we're going through this, I'm telling you questions to ask and things. But my students, they get the actual letters that I have used, the text that I have used. Now they're going to tweak it and make it their own. But the follow-up, the initial message, the follow-up emails, the Facebook posts, all that stuff is part of what I do. But that takes more time, so therefore I don't do that in the free. I do that in the paid one, and I'm sure that makes sense. It's just because I have more time to allow, more time to give in a paid version versus a free version. Now, you're likely to have lots of mentors over your career. I suggest that you have lots of mentors, period, at any one time. 3, 4, however many you need. Start off with one. Don't overdo this. Start off with one. Get used to it. Make mistakes. Learn from them. And then move into other things where you have multiple mentors. Mentors are going to change. You're not going to have the same ones. Lots of things are going to change. You're going to get past where they're at. They're going to move. You can't reach them anymore. You don't know what's going to happen today, tomorrow, the next day. They could pass away. Yeah. Don't assume that they're going to still be there. Assume that they're not. And treat them well, with respect. And don't wait. Do stuff now. I would recommend that you reach out to your mentors and past mentors just to see how they're doing. Not to ask them something for you, but to see how they're doing. Let's say you have a mentor named Bill and you get on the phone, either this kind if you have the landline or this kind if you have the cell. I got the cell. But I usually put it in my ears. So I reach out and just say, I was thinking about you, and I sure appreciate everything that you've done for me. I just wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. Everything going well for you? That makes a big difference, and I know that you know that. Just like every interaction with people, you know that my philosophy is that every single interaction with people needs to be win-win. It's not just you receiving all the benefits. Make sure that they are receiving some as well. There's a lot more that can be said, but let's bring it to the last thought for today, for today's lesson. And that's how to be a mentor. In my opinion, you need to have mentors throughout your entire career. You don't get to a point where you don't need more information. You don't get there. You don't reach the top of the mountain. Once you reach the top of the mountain, you realize that there's other mountains. You're always going to need mentors. But I also believe that you need to be a mentor. Several people mentioned that they have been before. Tony mentioned it. Let's see, I'm going to bring those comments back up. Rick mentioned it. So there's Tony said and Rick says that he's been a mentor before. And I bet you there are several of you who have been mentors yourself, and I absolutely recommend that you do that. It is beneficial for you to see both points of view. Besides, you have something you can share. I didn't realize I had something I can share in 1997. In 1997, I was 6 years out of getting my degree in photography. Struggling, making a name for myself, doing all right, getting attention, photographing all kinds of fantastic people, wonderful events, getting to be around, meet people, spend time with people who I would never have any opportunity to meet otherwise. Things I'm thoroughly grateful for. But in 1997, a photographer came to me and said, can you teach me a class on photography? And to me, I'm looking at all those people above me who have done so much more, who are so much more. I'm looking at them and aspiring to them, and I'm thinking, why me? I'm early on in this. I mean, I got my degree in 91, but I didn't start my photography business until 1995. I worked with other photographers during that time. I didn't feel like I was at 6 years, I felt like I was a newbie. And I was. 6 years, you're still a newbie. You're not as a newbie as someone who's in their first year, but you definitely are a newbie compared to someone like me who's been in it for 30 years. 1991, 2021 just ended. That's 30 years. I don't want to say 31. In fact, in my own, when I write it, I say 20 plus years instead of 30. That's just what I say. But it is beneficial for you to share what you learn. This person asked me in 1997, can you teach me some things about photography? I'm looking at others thinking they're better than me and you should go to them. She says, effectively, she shook me. She didn't. Effectively, she shook me and said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you have a degree in photography and you've been a full-time photographer for 6 years and you have nothing that you can share with me? To me, that was an eye-opener. At that moment, I became a person who shared what I knew. I actually thought that I had done that before. Not to the extent that I started doing then. I've been teaching photography since 1997 because of one person. Her name was Chris Hampton. I don't know if she's watching today, but she is the reason why I share what I know. Now, there's a lot of other people who contributed to that over the years. A lot. She was just the start. And for you, there's going to be a lot of things that start and then things that continue. I mean, you can attribute what you are today on a lot of variables, on a lot of factors, on a lot of people. But there was some turning point, something that caused a change to head you in this direction that you're in. Being a mentor uplifts you. You start seeing things from other points of view. You do have something you can share. You know more about something than someone else does. I'm not saying you're the expert in every single category. I'm saying that you have some more, just maybe a little bit more information than this other person who could use it. Share what you know. Help others along the way. Now, I do recommend that you kind of formalize this and you set up kind of a personal profile. You define who you are, you define what it is you do, and the ways you want to help. For instance, yes, I can do a lot of things, but I help portrait photographers earn a living with photography. Portrait photography, low volume portrait photography. I can help in a lot of other areas, but that's the really specific thing I want to do. That's where I shine. That's where I'm best. So if someone's asking for some other type of photography, I might be able to help them with something very specific that they're after, like price list. But I really want to help those who are low volume portrait photographers. That's where I want to dedicate my time. So that's how I define what I do. What areas are you able to help the most? And then maybe you even search for someone who you feel you could help. Reach out to them. Eliminate what I said earlier about the people who feel like there's no one there to help. Well, you're not going to be able to help everyone. There will continue to be people who aren't seeing it, who don't know that there's people out there helping. That's not going to stop. But at least you'll be contributing to that as a problem. So be a mentor. Set up an appointment for the initial consultation. Make sure that it's a good fit before you move forward. And then begin that relationship and start to grow. I'm going to bring Amanda back on. Amanda, how do you feel about mentoring and being, having mentors and being a mentor? Oh, I think you're muted.
All right, I'm in. I think what you just said about kind of identifying the type of person that would get the most value from what you have to offer is key. I know that that's very valuable for us at Digital Pro Lab because, as you know, our motto is where photo takers become printmakers. So that means I'm looking for photo takers, but not just any photo taker. I'm looking for those that want to become printmakers. And that is a very unique person because it's somebody that doesn't just want to be educated on the photography side of things, but on the printmaking side and all of that education that comes along with it. So I think that's definitely part of why I enjoy being a mentor to people because I want to share what I know, especially with regard to making things, which will lead me into actually the item that we're going to be giving away today. So
cool.
yeah, it's 2022, very beginning, and it's always a good time to calibrate your monitor when you start to realize that. Sorry, you'll see Ray in the background, the other owner. But yeah, so it's always a good time to make sure that your monitor is right, and how do you know when it's right? It's that calibration process, that education that I was telling you that I like to share, monitor calibration and ensuring that you have a monitor to print match is absolutely key to become the best printmaker that you can become. And at Digital Pro Lab, we have several things that we do, but today through the 8th, and let me pop this up for you, we're going to be giving away free monitor calibration when you schedule it before January 8th. And it doesn't have to be this week. You can just schedule it for a later time. Just email me at amanda@digitalprolab.com to secure your spot, because I do want to make sure that, one, I offer my guidance and support to you if you don't already get your monitor calibrated. Or know what it means or any of that. I'm a big proponent of it. It's so important. Otherwise, you're going to be pulling your hair out, wondering why you spent all of that time editing your images and you don't know why the heck it's not coming out correctly from the lab. And it is 9 times out of 10. I work with several photographers, and 9 out of 10 of them have no idea what monitor calibration is. At least 2 out of the 10 people that I work with blame the lab a lot of times for this mismatch. And really it boils down to just a little simple education. And once you understand it, you never forget it. I try and teach it in a very tangible way. We say it's just like tuning a musical instrument. If you're going to really play an instrument, you need to learn how to tune it first. Monitor calibration is exactly that. Your instrument in this case, when you're editing images, is actually your computer. So we want to make sure that your computer, your monitor are all calibrated and have those ICC profiles, and understanding that that monitor to print match is so important to actually seeing your work that you spend time editing and creating come to life, and it's true to what your vision was. So that's free if you schedule your monitor calibration before January 8th. Again, email me at amanda@digitalprolab.com. The other thing that I did want to mention, and some of you know this and a lot of you don't, anytime you come into Digital Pro Lab, or if you go to our website at digitalprolab.com and then just type in monitor calibration into the search bar, you'll see our monitor calibration page. And on there, there's going to be a request for a monitor evaluation kit. So these kits are something that we have. Let me show you. We have them here at Digital Pro Lab, readily available to pick up for free. And basically what it is it's a kit, has a disc in there. If you don't have a disc, it'll actually have a bit.ly link that you can download this image. Let's see if I can get it a little bit more in focus. So this is what we call an evaluation print, and this is what we use in our lab to evaluate the state of our monitor, whether it's calibrated, whether it needs to be calibrated, if it's too blue, too warm, all of those things that will prevent you from having a really, really great monitor to print match. So those we give out for free. We'll ship you one for free if you're not here in San Antonio. They're awesome. It's an awesome way to evaluate the state of your monitor and really make sure that you're starting off right, or at least we can start the conversation on whether or not you need to move forward with a monitor calibration. So those are the two things that I wanted to make sure that you took away from today, that free monitor calibration, and then just the knowledge that at any time, even if you're calibrated, if you want to come in and pick up a monitor evaluation kit, that's yours. That's our gift to you to help educate you and mentor you towards, again, achieving the monitor print match. And the other thing that I wanted to mention as far as mentorship goes, so it's really, really important that you put yourself in a position or in a place to meet your mentors. And we at Digital Pro Lab really enjoy creating events and spaces where people can actually commingle, network, get to know each other. You start to see people over and over again, and you form friendships and bonds. And one of those events that we put on monthly is called Espresso and Edits. We do that in partnership with the Camera Exchange here in San Antonio. They're the local camera sales shop. And we created this event together to bring photographers, videographers to a coffee shop somewhere in San Antonio. And we just sit there for about 3 hours and edit our photos, talk photography amongst photographers and videographers. So we're talking about a lot of things, people that are business owners, hobbyists, just people interested in learning Photoshop, all of those good things. We just sit there for 3 hours, very relaxed environment, no workshop, no none of that. It's just sit next to him, take a look at what the person next to you is working on, ask some questions. That's how those conversations start. That's how mutual mentorships kind of form. So Espresso and Edits is absolutely something that if you've never been to one of them, I encourage you to join us at the next one, which is coming up January 29th at 2 p.m. So that one is actually an extra special one because here in San Antonio, we have partnered with a new facility called the Photo Center. So they're going to be located at 724 South Alamo Street in Suite 3 here in San Antonio. It's actually in the Arts District, or Southtown is what we call it here in San Antonio. And that is going to be an organization completely dedicated to education and your further enrichment in photography. They will have a library available to you to be able to go and be inspired by different types of photographers or knowledge in photography. We have some of the best photographers in San Antonio that are actually going to be volunteering their time to speak with individuals that go during their open hours. We at Digital Pro Lab have actually partnered specifically with them to create what's called their digital lab. So that's where you can go on, use their computers and use Photoshop, learn to use it, do Lightroom, all that good stuff amongst your peers and learn. And Digital Pro Lab will help and provide incentives to print. So we're adding in that educational component there within their facility to help make sure everybody understands how to get the right and perfect print at the end of the day. So I hope y'all will join us for that because those are always great events. There's usually, minimum about 20 to 30 people that are there. So this is a good spacious environment. So it should be pretty safe. And just talk. We're going to drink coffee together. We're going to talk. We're going to learn from each other. And that's really how it starts. So again, put yourself in a position and a place to meet mentors. And this is one way to do that. So I hope you'll join us.
Yeah, definitely. That having these opportunities where people can visit with others is a fantastic way to begin a mentorship. It's a fantastic way to grow and help others. And you're involved in so many of these things that uplift photographers. So it's fantastic. And the free monitor offer calibration, that's fantastic, guys. Take advantage of that. I mean, you just have a few days. I think it's 5 days. Yeah, today's the 3rd.
To simply just tell me you're interested. And then you can worry about when you want to bring it in and schedule that at a later time if you want. But we definitely want to know that, or we want you to know that we're here and that this is available to you. Normally, that's a $99.95 value. That's what it typically costs for somebody to bring their monitor in to be calibrated with us. So that's almost $100 that you're getting off for calibration, because I want you to start the new year off right.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Amanda, for doing that for us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, guys, take advantage of that. I mean, do I really need to convince you that this is a good thing? I can't imagine that I would.
If you don't know why it's a good thing, email me. I'm going to tell you all about it.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. We don't expect you to know everything, but we do give you opportunity to find out. So thanks, Amanda. So do that today. Do that right now. As soon as this ends, which is in moments, do that right now. And then also put on your calendar the Espresso and Edits. That's at the end of the month, January 29th on Saturday. So put that on your calendar. Google Calendar, iCal, whatever you use, pull it out right now. Put that on your calendar. Show up. Be there. It's beneficial to you. So both of those things are fantastic. Thank you for offering them. Any last thoughts on? Oh, you know what? You did have a question. Pork asked a question. Let me go back to it. He said, how long does a calibration take?
So generally, we ask that you bring it in the morning. So sometime around 8:39, 10 o'clock. It doesn't take us very long, but we do want to further evaluate it. So generally say that you pick it up about 4 p.m. So it's a day. That's my easy answer.
Drop it off and expect to not have it. Okay, for the day. No problem. Perfect. And then Rick asked a question. Do we take it in or bring my laptop? So
Bring everything.
Oh, Riz. Yeah. So for your monitor, we need everything. We need your entire computer, your tower, your setup, cords. We're also going to ask you for your password so we can go in and actually fully install the software, run the calibration, and that the profile that's being created in order to calibrate your machine has to be housed on your computer. It's not something, obviously your monitor itself doesn't have any internal device storage or anything. So it's the computer that actually is going to house that, but it's measuring the output of the monitor that's attached to it. And if you have multiple monitors, that's okay too. Bring them both in, and there's going to be 2 calibrations that are run to create the consistency that you need across both of them. And laptops are also welcome. The only thing I always say about laptops is laptops move like this, and depending on the quality of your laptop, it doesn't provide you the consistency sometimes that you really need for editing. But it's not bad. It's just, you just need to know that. Just educate yourself on what the limitations of your tool is, and that's okay. You can work around them.
nice. Perfect. Thank you for answering those questions. I don't see any more on that. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing next week. And we're going to, the second Monday of every single month, you guys, if you're watching regularly, you already know this, but just in case, the second Monday of every single month, we change the time. We don't do it at noon. We do it at 6:30. And that's just to accommodate those who have a lunch, who can't get away for lunch. And they've got a full-time job. They're just not able to do this. And we want to include them. And we do something different when we do these. We do a panel. We will bring in some other photographers, 1, 2, 3, as a panel to answer questions about a specific topic. And this particular topic is going to be what we just talked about. Mentorship, what they have done, what they are doing, how they feel they have benefited. And so you get to hear the opinions, the point of view from 3 different photographers. Do you have anything to add to that, Amanda?
I think it's going to be great. I'm actually, I'm excited. I always love to hear people talk about the topics that you talk about and from their perspective. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I do too. So put that on your calendar, guys. It's Portrait Profits is every single Monday. So put it on your calendar. It's consistent. You can count on us being here. So every Monday at noon, with the exception of the second Monday of every single month. So this coming Monday is going to be at 6:30, and that's where you'll hear the panel. And you'll be able to hear the opinions of up to three different people. So that is what's coming. Put that on your calendar. All right. Anything left that we still need to share, Amanda, or are we done?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you, Amanda, for all you do. Thank you for your constant happiness. You're always smiling and happy, and we know that you're human. So therefore, we know that you go through difficulties just like everyone else. Some of us face the world with a smile, and some of us less than. You're one of those who faces it with a smile. And I think that is very encouraging to everyone who is watching today. I think it's encouraging and helpful to everyone who you cross paths with, whether directly or indirectly. That makes a difference, and that's uplifting photography. So thank you for being you and all you do to help us out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you for being here. So today we talked about, and I'll bring that banner back up, getting a mentor and reaching new heights. As you know, I'm encouraging this. Get a mentor. You'll wind up with multiple probably, but get one. You have things that you need questions. You've got some hurdles that you're trying to beat, to grow. Make 22 fantastic and start it off by adding a mentor. If you need to rewatch this, it's in the feed. You can watch it anytime. Just go down. If it's on the San Antonio Photography page, it may be quite a bit down before you find it because there's a lot happening. If you go to the Portrait Prophet page, it's the most recent thing. And so you don't have to scroll down. So wherever you find it, you can rewatch this. And I definitely recommend that so that you can hear it again, so that you can take better notes, so you can grow and know this even more. If you need help in finding a mentor, if you need help in knowing what questions to ask, if you need help in anything photography, portrait, low volume related, please reach out to me. That's what I am here for. That's what I do full time. And you can see earlier in the feed the link that comes directly to my calendar. Put yourself on my calendar. It's that simple. And no, it doesn't cost anything. And no, I don't try to sell you anything. Now, if you ask a question about my classes, I will answer it. But that's not the purpose of the call. The purpose is uplifting photographers, period. That's it. Those who have taken advantage of it know it. So you get to know it too. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Prophet Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography. We provide helpful information, step-by-step processes, how-to articles, and action steps that will help you with the struggles you deal with now, so you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Bye-bye for now.